ABS is overrated, bro.
Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about some comments. Without further ado, leave a comment down below if you like something in this video or on our past videos. We sell high-temp 3D printers, 3D scanners, blah, blah, blah. Matt, feed us the first comment.
So first comment is, high-temp materials are overrated. ABS does fine in 99% of applications, and the other 1% would be better off to machine in metal.
So, high-temp filaments, waste of time and money. I'll agree with that for most people, but really the deal is these are very specific thermoplastics for industrial uses, and it's like in aerospace, medical, oil and gas. These plastics have different properties like being lightweight, metal replacements, gamma radiation resistance, low off-gassing that actually apply to a lot of different industries. And ABS, ABS can be a great material.
ABS is a great material.
Yeah.
Your car is made mostly of ABS.
Right.
At one point it was. Who knows what they're using now? But plastic. It's what I have to guess. I don't want to even say this, but I'd say the most ubiquitous plastic on Earth besides polyethylene and polypropylene. ABS is a great material. It is a wonderful material. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the few people who goes home and prefers to print ABS. It can be vapor smoothed. It can be sanded, it can be tapped and drilled very nicely for a low temp material, and it's very inexpensive.
Right, very, very inexpensive.
High temp materials are, you sound like the kind of gentleman who does not have a specific use for PSU or PPSU, PEEK, ULTEM, so on and so forth. And I would say probably 15% of our viewers actually have a use for it.
Right, it's like Lockheed Martin and big companies.
Exactly.
And
Why it's
stuff.
important and not overrated is because there are now plastics that can be 3D printed and implanted into the body, or 3D printed and have incredibly low off-gassing that is safe enough for use in a cockpit of a modern military jet or to go into space. ABS can't do any of that stuff. And you don't need ABS. Also, ABS is not nearly as strong.
Yeah,
ABS
rigidity. If you want rigidity, something with carbon fiber, you go into the nylon CF25s.
I get it.
Even regular ULTEM PPSU.
Because the thing that's frustrating about your comment is that you're kind of right. And that is because ABS is an excellent material, fix-all material. Maybe not for 3D printing necessarily, but the properties it does have is great. But to say that these high-temp materials are overrated, that is your opinion. That is valid. And I think that applies maybe more to whatever your use case for these plastics might be.
Look, what it really comes down to is ABS is a great, cheap, affordable, all-around basic material, especially if you've got a heated chamber that you can do a lot of stuff with. But high-temp thermoplastics being overrated is kind of it's a miscontext, right? It's like these thermoplastics aren't like, we're not like, oh, everybody, you should change to PEEK. In fact, we will never tell people to print PEEK if they do not absolutely need PEEK for their application. It's
People
very, very
call
important.
all the time and they're like, I've got a CR10 or a whatever, and I'm using ABS, but I need to print this thing. And what printers do you have? And I go, what are you trying to print? Dude, stick with ABS, man, or do nylon. You don't need, don't get a high temp printer. Just try this nylon a little bit, see if it even works. I don't think you need it.
Yeah.
Because that does us a disservice as well as the customer.
Exactly.
So I will never push someone. If ABS is working for you, use ABS. You don't need to be like, oh, you should be using high temp nylon if you want.
Or if you need it, like maybe
don't
hydrocarbons or some solvents or something in your application, call for it. But it's not about, high temps being, oh, they're awesome, they're better than everything. Well, that may be true, but not necessarily. They're drawbacks. They're expensive. They're often difficult to use without experience.
ABS is the Honda Civic of the car world. Oh. And every supercar or sports car is overrated and unnecessary. Fly a jet instead. That's kind of what that comment is saying.
Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, don't take it like we're professing, oh, everybody needs to use high temp. No. There are a lot of great materials out there. Visionminer.com/materials. We've got like 40 or 50 different engineering grade materials. We don't even sell PLA or ABS, but that's our specialty, and those are the customers that we cater to. Now, you guys get the benefit of, we have a YouTube channel and we're sharing all this stuff, and it's great and fun to watch and interesting, but it's not there for the majority, especially hobbyist users. It's not the go-to. And that's not our message either. It's like, hey, look, this is possible. A lot of the times, PEEK parts that people want in PEEK aren't even possible to print. Yeah, like the huge parts, they need them fully crystallized and everything. It's like, okay, well, there's limitations to that. But we're definitely not saying use it for everything.
You know what's funny is that what we do is, because if you haven't talked to us on the phone or doesn't have an application for it, I can get why you would see this. So many times someone calls and they're like, I need this part in PEEK. And I go, tell me the numbers. And they go, the numbers. And I say, cool, we're gonna do this in nylon.
Yeah, it'll be like 200 Fahrenheit.
And it'll cost you a fourth as much.
Yeah.
And everyone's happy.
Yeah, it'll be more than
Don't
rigid
use
enough.
PEEK if you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we have alternatives. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Matt, feed us the next comment. What do we think is the future of slicing?
Non-planar.
What would you like to see?
What would I like to see?
Non-planar.
Well, definitely non-planar. So multi-axis, 5-axis, or 4-axis even. Anything where
6 or 7-axis even.
I mean, because right now we're really on like 2-axis and up. So it's
That's
like
the third dimension.
Getting the tilt in there, the rotation, the yaw, the pitch.
Technically, we're 4-dimensional because it takes time to print. So they are 4-dimensional printers.
So
they can't print time.
Better estimates for print time, I think, will come into play. But it's interesting because you get the tool path. I mean, this could go into machine learning and computer vision and all this other stuff, but that's mid-print process. That's really the processing stuff on the machine as opposed to the slicer itself.
The machine has to change before slicers can get real cool. And I'm talking robotic arms.
Yeah.
So that you can print like that if you want to.
Yeah. Our 22IX is future-proof for non-planar just because the bed has the ability to move forward, backward, and around in that area. So you get 5 degrees of freedom technically, but there's no slicer to take advantage of that yet.
I'm gonna get serious. What Cura has done recently with things like the lightning infill is so impressive to me, and I use it so frequently. What it really takes to advance slicers, if we're sticking to the FDM, Cartesian, or whatever, the systems we're using today, is just clever, unique people coming up with good ideas, a strong community. I can't even guess what's gonna happen next because it takes a community to build these features. And that's one thing I like about Cura, is that they incorporate their community to make these things better. Long story short, non-planar.
Yeah, long story short, non-planar, multi-axis, getting out of the 2-dimensional layers stacked up on each other, I think is a huge thing.
Acoustic levitation printing.
I mean, that's a whole nother deal.
Is that real?
That is real. It's there's a university, I forget the name.
Print it?
So basically they're using acoustic
laser
levitation. Yeah, and I think it's levitating powder to different areas, zapping it with a laser.
They took my idea.
Pretty much. Sorry. But,
Okay.
Patents they have a date on them, so definitely going to see a lot of stuff. And I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think the future of slicers is for 3D printing in general? And maybe you're doing metal 3D printing, maybe you're doing FDM, maybe you're doing other materials, SLA. What do you want to see in slicers other than more development on simplified 3D?
Matt, what do you think? Yeah, I want to see V4.
V5.
V5?
V5.
I want to see, where's V5?
Hey.
If simplified 3D, that's the next big development in slicing. I guess we'll just have to wait another 6 years. Matt, what do you think?
Integrating a better understanding of the materials they're printing to take into account of work and...
Yeah, because it comes down to profiles a lot, right? So like an understanding of the materials,
the profiles should be
pre-baked materials.
Oh my God, that's such a good answer.
Oh.
There is someone, we'll have to find it and I'll link it below because I'm going to butcher it. But basically, there is a slicer that is some university is doing
that email we got the other day?
Where
no, that was the computer vision stuff.
It takes all of the physical properties and behaviors and modulus into account and the temperatures. And it will literally print certain areas of the part thinner than it should be, or slightly thicker.
Are you talking about the email we got?
Knowing how this part is going to want to warp.
Yeah, definitely.
Per material.
Yeah, that's probably going to be an AI
PEEK,
thing.
yeah. So PEEK, if it's this geometry and this orientation, it's going to make these minor modifications to prevent warping, and that is going to be.
So in metal 3D printing, they're already doing that a lot with the super polymers. Like, because they have to account for the warping before it happens.
That's where
in like Inconel and
that
stuff.
Must have been where I got it
so
from.
they're gonna sinter this part differently, and it's not gonna look right until it gets up here, because that's gonna cause the warping on the whole part. And so
the
I know
answer to your
Materialize is
question
working on a lot of that stuff.
We'll link to you a video of the cool stuff they're doing, because that is the answer.
Link in the description below. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what they say on YouTube.
First
person who comments the Young's modulus of 3DX Tech's Thermex PPSU.
I love it. The Young's modulus Thermax PPSU. Go. You will receive a free bottle of nanopolymer adhesive. 120 milliliters. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment down below if you've got questions or something you want us to rant on or talk about. We love hearing from you guys. We love seeing what you're doing. And if you're interested in high temperature 3D printing, 3D scanning, digitalization, things of that nature, additive manufacturing, we are here to help. Shoot us an email or give us a call. We're always here, and we love, again, hearing what you guys are doing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a positive rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, guys, welcome back. Today, oh, should I address? Oh, the thing went over the camera.